Hey guys, Trevor Reed here. Today's topic, I am in charge of flying two of my friends from Minnesota to Dallas um, to see a football game, see the Vikings play the Cowboys. Uh, I got one friend that is apprehensive about flying in a light twin engine like this, and then I have a friend who's constantly asking questions about everything in the aircraft. Um, so, with that, I need to know my stuff. So, without further ado, we will go ahead and get into it. Thanks. So to begin with, we'll talk about my single pilot resource management. Since I'm flying two of my friends, it's kind of up to me in the aircraft here, so I really need to be on top of things. I could ask maybe my friends. One of my friends has had time and flight training, has radio procedures. If he wanted to work radios for me to make things a little bit easier, that's a possibility. Another one is just again making sure I have my route planned. So I'll be using ForeFlight. Make sure I know exactly what I'm doing, where I need to be, where I'm going. If I'm flying a departure procedure, need to know all about that, especially being in a multi-engine aircraft because things are going to happen faster. I'll be flying faster. Um, so that's a big one. Making sure I've got fuel in the aircraft is good. Making sure I'm with weight and balance, we're good there. And it's just pretty much being proficient with me. Not current, I need to be proficient here. So I would be on top of all of that. So, since my friend is asking me constant questions about all the different systems of the aircraft and flight controls and all that, I need to know all about it. So, to begin with, during my pre flight is when I would probably explain many of the different systems. So, to begin with, we'll start with the flight controls out there. I'll walk around, show them how the primary flight controls work, ailerons, rudder, elevator, and the power plant. And so I would show the trim tabs, both rudder trim and elevator trim. And then I'd show all the lights, everything, make sure all that was good. Um, I'd show them inside the power plant, kind of explain how the fuel gets from the wing tanks to the engine, and then the same thing with the electrical system while we're flying. Uh, I would be sure to make sure that there were no questions concerning the safety of the flight and that I know exactly what I'm doing. So I am the only pilot, so my single pilot resource management needs to be top notch. Um, I need to know exactly my route of flight and all of that. And so the real big one would be emergency procedures for me, especially in a multi-engine aircraft. And I think the biggest one to talk about would be an engine failure on takeoff and while in flight. So I would explain probably before we even left if we end up losing an engine on the ground roll, if based on judging where my point off in the distance where I need to be off the ground, if we're before that, I'll go ahead and cease the takeoff and get that airplane shut off and figure out what exactly went wrong. If we are airborne and we're on our climb out and I lose an engine, key to there is just maintain aircraft control at the beginning. Make sure I have a decent single engine climb rate. Get up to 1,500 feet, declare an emergency, and get back down on the ground. If we're in flight, um, let's say I'm at altitude, cruising altitude, we're in flight, I lose an engine. I'll go ahead and declare an emergency. Hopefully, I can get that engine restarted. If I can't, I'm going to find the nearest airport and get it down safely. Um, that would probably be the biggest thing. I would probably go through if the cabin door, not cabin door, if the passenger door open to the baggage door to make sure that I would maintain aircraft control and not allow anything to alter the airplane's flyability and controllability. Those would be the biggest emergencies I would walk through. I would keep the electrical. I know exactly what to do with that. So I'd make sure I'd have all those emergencies down and explain to both my friends so we have a nice, safe, and comfortable flight. And so the real big one, and then again, finally, the aeronautical decision making. Again, I'll use my first one. Well, pretty much I just use the PAVE checklist. So pilot, use my I'm safe, illness, medication, alcohol, stress, fatigue, and then eat and sleep. Making sure personally as me as a pilot, I am fit and ready to make this flight. No questions asked. Um, airplane, make sure all the inspections are up to date, make sure all the equipment's up to date and is good as or is functioning properly. Um, the environment, I would know my route of flight, altitudes I need to be at, weather for sure, and then E would be eat and sleep. Again, make sure I'm good. Once I got to the pay checklist, I would make sure my passengers are good. None are drunk because we're going to a football game. None of that. Nobody's sick. Everybody's able to make the flight.